Would you please welcome Jacksonville, Florida, Molly Hatchet? Yeah.
Country is not the way country used to be. Country really today, in my estimation, is really a form of what Southern rock was back in the 70s and the 80s. What's your thoughts?
I agree. Country music, is not like it was back in the '60s with your Charlie Pride and Mickey Gilley and your traditional country artists, George Jones, so on and so forth. I think they kind of got into the pop era of country, probably in the early '80s, mid '80s, and then all of a sudden Randy Travis came along. And, they weren't even looking for artists that were doing traditional country at the time. That was the only thing Randy wanted to do. You mentioned Taylor Swift. We worked 4 shows with her in 2007, and that was her first year out. And I remember the first show I booked on her was in Hillsboro, Ohio. And the entertainment buyer in Hillsboro was asking me about Taylor Swift. And I told her, I said, Rick, I don't think you want to go that direction. She's 16 years old. She's singing about her hero, Tim McGraw. And I said, I think she's just going to be a, novelty song, and that'll be it. And he looked at me and he said, well, for $6,500, he said, I think we'll take a chance on her. And we did. It was the most people they'd ever seen in the middle of the streets in Hillsboro, Ohio. They estimated a crowd about 20,000 people that night.
Chuck, tell me, I understand that The Breeze, one of the bands that you were in, actually had the chance to play for one of our presidents. What can you tell me about that?
There's a magazine, country music magazine called in Cleveland, Ohio. And I remember the guy who was the editor of the magazine called me up one day and he said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing a birthday party for the president or Governor Voinovich of Ohio at the time?
I just want to say that I really appreciate the great support that all of you have given me over the years.
And I said, sure, no problem. He said, I got another treat here for you too. We think President George H.W. Bush is going to show up.
But when I heard of this event for my dear friend George Voinovich and for his beloved wife Janet, my dear friends, both of them, I could not pass up this opportunity to come out to Ohio and share with all of you the feelings that Barbara and I have in our heart.
He wasn't in office at the time. He was out of office at that time. But just ironically, yes, he showed up for the birthday party that day. We met Governor Voinovich. We met President Bush. We got our picture taken with him that day. Larry Gatlin, who was also a very good friend of President Bush, he was there that day, and he came up and sang with The Breeze.
Happy birthday to you, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
And I tell you what, that was probably, next to meeting the president, that was probably the next biggest thing of that day was to get to sing with Larry Gatlin.
Hey, Chuck, with all the bands that you worked with, okay, Taylor Swift and Randy Travis and Charlie Daniels, you also worked with some rock bands too. You did a date with Cheap Trick. What did you tell us about that?
That was a Cheap Trick show. Was actually Charlie Daniels was there that day also. It was a thing called a Mountain Fest in Morgantown, West Virginia, big outdoor event. Cheap Trick was, rock stars, and I had never met him until I did that show that day. But a good bunch of guys. Rick Nielsen, the guitar player, I'll never forget when Charlie was coming off stage, because he was opening for a Cheap Trick that night. Rick Nielsen running across the stage as Charlie was coming off to go see Charlie Daniels. I thought, wow, that's respect right there. A rocker for a legend, I guess you could say. And so, but yeah, got to work with him. Peter Frampton, did a show with Peter Frampton. Just to list, has went on and on. With the rockers and everything too. It's just been great.
Hey, Chuck, I want to thank you for giving this time to us. I mean, 3 episodes of great information and musical history that you have had over the decades that you and I have known each other, not only with your friendship with the Outlaws and your friendship with me and Molly Hatchet. And I'll tell you what, the third episode was just fantastic. And I want to thank you for your time spending it with us here on The Gatekeeper. So from Studio 1J in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, stand by for the next episodes of The Gatekeeper.